Hello everyone, my name is Michael, and I feel like just telling a story because it keeps coming up and I'm going over and over again, and I've only just recently learnt about it myself, and it's about myself, and it's quite self-centered in kind of a good way, kind of a bad way. It's a bit of a story, I guess. So, for a decade of my life, I have lacked the emotion of being happy or being joyful. In fact, the only emotions I did feel were always negative. I found life really hard to live, and I sort of look happy, but I wasn't satisfied. I could never get any satisfaction for that decade of my life, and I wasn't enjoying myself, not nearly as much as everyone else seems to be enjoying themselves. And this did affect me in the long term. I eventually saw other people and it was feeling better. They were feeling happy, but I couldn't feel happy. It sucks. And it's also what I consider to be jealousy. So, because I couldn't feel things that everyone else was seemingly feeling, it was really terrible. And I have to keep thinking about everything. Because that's part of the story. So, let me go back to before I was about 13 years old. So, prior to that, my mind worked differently to how it works today. It was a bit of a chaotic mess, as some people would put it. And what you'd see running around schoolyards in your mind while walking around was essentially you'd see columns and rows of movies playing over and over again in your head while walking around and enjoying life. Essentially, that was how life was for me. That was really lots of energy, lots of brain power in just that. And come about 13, I was about 13 at the time. Before a little bit before that. How about we start a little bit before that? Just try to go forwards. My mind worked a little bit differently again. And while the visuals never realistically changed, the only thing that is was my mind was like the Matrix. It was the green text, up and down, letters and numbers, and things would just come to me, and it was easy to do things compared to now. And I could see it as a word instead of having to think about it as a word. And thinking about it now, there is really no visual. It's just you just say something and there's no real thought behind it because you can't visually see it, you can't mentally hear it, you're just saying it. And it's kind of weird, but it's also kind of natural in a weird way. So 13, mine was like a matrix, and whenever we went to the checkouts, I could calculate everything in the trolley like this, because it'll be based off the fact I'm adding up all the numbers as I'm identifying what their values were, and I was able to remember values really, really well. What I did with that knowledge, what I did was I calculated what was in the trolley, how much my mum would be paying before the till even read out. And they were still scanning stuff. So, yeah, that was how my mind worked. They were impressed at the time. Now, when I was 13, I just had a sharp pain in my head, and then it just went blank. And occasionally it went back on, and it was like a light up there where you could see something. But now it's a lot different. Now it's like there is an image there, but then there's a black layer, and that black layer's opacity changes, and so you can't clearly see what's there. And it's really weird. Right now it feels like all I see is out of my eyes. And how it used to be is like the third eye. They used to say, like, if there's a third eye here, you could visually see something out of that third eye. And that third eye is the idea and the visualization of the things you're thinking about. Now, personal opinion, what I believe is, because I've got Asperger's, my personal belief is that I believe that Asperger's is sort of it's towards an evolution. It's an incomplete evolution of where we're going with our abilities and mental abilities, but it's not quite focused. And normal people are more focused. They can do things that we can't, but we can do things that they can't. And I think, in my eyes, the way everything seems to me, and ways that people perceive me, and ways I perceive them, and situations, it's like Asperger's is an evolution, but it's an imperfect evolution. It's something that's becoming more and more common now. And I believe, because of how common it's becoming, that it is an evolutionary trait, that we are evolving, and that's just a sign that we are. It's just, it isn't perfect, so we can't be perfect, but we can give an idea of what that evolution looks like in the future. So, yeah. That's cool. I'm tired. I've got stuff I got to do tomorrow. Work. Yeah. And I can't focus, I can't concentrate, I can't think of much at the moment. I'm gonna let you guys go. I got stuff I gotta do, and I'm hoping that I can get somewhere with what work I'm doing, because, oh gosh, this place feels like a nightmare sometimes. And the equipment that I use here, the table, the chair, all out of my pay grade at the moment to fix or replace or whatever. So I'm looking forward to a future where I can afford to fix things, change things, and, have a better life, sort of thing. I'm looking forward to a day where I own a place, where I have space, where I can get more equipment as I need it, where I can expand on space as I need it. Where I can work and focus, where I can be creative, where I can be smart and use my intellect to form ideas to solve problems, where I can learn new things that I don't know about or don't understand. Like, maybe I pretend I know a lot, but it's like, I understand concepts, but I don't understand how the details of those things work. And so, sometimes I do seem like, what do you call it? I do seem like I've got an ego, but it's accidental. It's not like I'm smarter than everyone else, because there's a time and a place for your skills and abilities, and when you put your hand up and say, I can do it, it's not you saying you've got an ego, it's a lot of confidence. And it does come across as an ego sometimes, like, hey, I can do it. It doesn't always come across the same way to everyone. And I think to some people I'm really weird and I'm really strange, and that's probably because I'm Asperger's, and the words mean different things probably to me, and I'm probably misusing them in the actual English language, but I'm trying. It's the best I can do. Anyway, I'm also tired, so that could be a contributor to why I'm terrible. But what did reawaken some positive emotions in me, though, was meeting someone who I really, really liked. But eventually, we went separate ways. I'm glad I met him. It's horrible we went separate ways, but big deal. Move on. And I normally find it hard to move on, and I did find it hard to move on. It hurt. It really did. And it still hurts. But the way I'm moving on is looking for the thing that keeps me alive, I guess. That sounds wrong. How do I word it better? I feel like I'm valuable to someone, but I also feel like they have value to me. I feel like I physically want someone in my life that I can hug and enjoy being with. But I also want someone that mentally appeals to me and I find attractive, I guess. And I sound like a weirdo, but it's just how things are. And what I've been finding a lot of, which has been sucky and demoralizing, I guess. Is it demoralizing? I keep saying that, but I don't think it is. It feels quite devaluing. Is when all you find is nice people who look nice, but then they just say hook up. Oh, come on. That's just ridiculous. Why is everyone like that? It seems like our generation is just all about hooking up. There's nothing serious about it. There's nothing deep about it. And there's very few people that appeal that actually talk, or when they do, they're very sensitive and they got their own mental issues, and that's why they contact me. And it's a nightmare. I have my mental issues, but you know, I'm not weak. I'm impossibly strong. Impossibly, the way I'm trying to perceive it is a picture of how I actually am. I go through a lot of shit and I persevere and I deal with the shit. I have to feel it, but I go with it until I crack and I've had enough. I've let go of a lot of stress factors in my life. I've got some more I'm going to drop eventually when I can afford to move out. And the basic way to put it in the best terminology, maybe I do like my parents, maybe I don't, but I just want to get out of here. I want to move out. I don't even want to think about them because they drive me nuts. They don't care about themselves. Dad drinks pretty much a bottle of spirits a day. Mum drives everyone nuts and is not very much self-esteem, I guess. She's always putting people down and raising herself up and saying, I'm better than you. And oh my god, it's not better when you're a higher level, when you're dragging smaller levels that don't have as much time to play as you into a battle they can't win. That doesn't make you better. It means you're dragging them down into the dirt, and that's not fun. And that's essentially what's happened with my mum. She's dragging me into the dirt. And they look at me and they call me God in the game, because what I did in this game when we played was, I was lower levels than them by a few levels, not much. I was in an area where the enemies were way too powerful for me. And what I did is I still got in the enemy's face. They still killed me. But I was able to survive so long that I didn't die. I managed to get to the end of the level before they did. And I still didn't die at the end of the level. But eventually I slowed down a little bit through another playthrough in that same section. And I did actually die once. Because I was expecting the event to happen, and I told my mum's friend, he can keep going, I'll survive. I was so confident in myself that I died because I was overly confident that I would survive. And I was actually complaining because what I was expecting to happen didn't happen that time around. And I was like, where the hell are these things? So, I'm not really a god, not in the game. I'm really good at games. And it's really cool to sometimes be like, hey, I'm a god because I can't die. But it's being in god mode and that sort of stuff, like for real, is not fun. You become in a world where there's no challenge, there is no freaking energy that says, yes, I did something, I'm awesome, I'm great. There's nothing to really make you feel that way. You lose all sight of how good you are when you're playing in a mode that gives you infinite ability to do anything. There is no fun in that. It's unbalanced. It's not cool. It's not fun. So what I do is I play to my best of my abilities on my character, and I enjoy it. And the thing I most like about my character is I don't have to rely on other people to save me, because I'm always saving them, and then when I go down, no one saves me. Even though I said to the guy once, hey, go ahead. My mum, she lets me die all the time. She's looking at me, and she just goes looking at the loot instead. It's like, what the freaking hell are you doing? And I die. Okay. Not cool, mum. Then I save her, I go down, and she goes up, she's up, and then she runs away. Or she takes my kills that I was meant to get, and then she still lets me die. It's like, what the freaking hell was that for? It's not fun when you're always dying, especially in a harder area. I'm good at games, but I don't have the setup of the game means I wasn't able to deal enough damage to survive. It also meant that I was useless. They were essentially dragging me, and I was not doing anything. I was not able to be satisfied with the game experience. So, yeah, shove it. That's it. The end. Anyway, thank you for watching. Sorry for making you watch this junk. Update on the cars, since I haven't actually said anything about them. Triton's still in the air, needs new leaf springs, and I'm going to say it's about $6 grand, $5 grand to fix the whole car properly. White Pajero still needs work done on it. We've got one bearing left, and, well, kind of stuffed up the one that's in there now, which is stupid and sucky. What else is there? Tartar's turbo's out of the car. It is buggered. It needs to be rebuilt, replaced, whatever, and it costs a lot of money. There's about $1,200 right there to fix that. Oh, the Fairlane is still the same as it was before. The Falcon's the same as it was before. That Pajero is the same as it was before. And Mum's car has been fixed, and she has an $800 brand new part in there. That sounds nicer. It's not clunky, but whatever. But there is no intent at the moment to work on any of the cars, other than maybe the white one a little bit. The factor is, I've got no real portfolio to say, hey, I should get a job, and I'm working towards that really hard, because I really want to get a job so that I can afford this stuff, because I'm spending money now to go into town so that I can focus on that stuff rather than being here and in a toxic environment. That way, when I finish something in town, I can release it, and then I've got a portfolio piece, but also I've got a potential to make money, and that money will help support me, and eventually it might even grow into an actual business which makes me money, that I can start a business, I can pay people to do work, and then I can hire people instead, and that would be cool, because then I can get other people to work on something, and we can work on something together. And I like working on stuff, just I struggle to do the 40 hours a week thing, and I'm trying really, really hard to do 40 hours a week. I get close. I don't get to it exactly. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.